Good day, everybody, and a welcome to Prep Huddle Live here on StriveSports.com. It is great to be back in the office here at Hashtag in downtown Henderson. We've been gone for the last couple of weeks, traversing the state for our Strive U fall conferences and also for state softball last week in Hastings. We had the podcast version of the show last week, and this week you get to see my bright, shining face again. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but it is a thing. State softball wrapped up last week. State cross country, of course, looms on Friday. The end of the regular season for football is very much upon us. This is Prep Huddle Live. It's noon on Wednesday, and we've got plenty to get through today. We're going to talk with St. Paul football coach Rusty Fuller in just a second about his team's preparation for the Channel Seed Game of the Week as they get ready to host Central City. We're going to have highlights and an interview from last night's Crossroads Conference volleyball tournament. Coach Diane Torson and her Hampton Hawks come home with a victory. It was fun. It was exciting. It was a lot of excitement on both ends with their win over Exeter Milligan. And then we're also going to get Berk Brown of NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com to give us his thoughts not only on the game for the Crossroads Conference, but a lot of different conferences going on with their tournaments right now. And Tony Chapman is going to wrap things up with the Strive 5 and some other fun stuff. So excited to get into the show today, and we begin with St. Paul coach Rusty Fuller. And Coach, the season so far is 6-2. I guess first off the top of my head, you got to just say what it's been like to see these guys grow and develop and where they've come from last year to this year so far.
Yeah, it's great. When I came here 3 years ago, the first thing we wanted to establish was a lot of that has to do with the experience they got from last year. So things are looking great.
To look at your guys' record, like we said, 6-2, a loss to Valentine, 23-16. Valentine just has the one loss, and to undefeated Centennial, 26-21. You guys have absolutely been in both of those games, and then another close win over Cross County, who's 5-3 on their season. So the guys have been experiencing some close games and have a couple of losses, but surely that has been kind of a talking point for the last couple of weeks to get them ready, which is a big district matchup now coming up on Friday.
Yeah, it's good to have those fourth quarter battles. I think where we got ourselves in trouble is we shot ourselves in the foot a few too many times with the fumbles, and that was really the difference in the game between Centennial and Valentine. We gave them the ball and gave them opportunities to score, and I felt like we were probably the better team, and we just didn't put them away. And I think our kids have learned from that, and they're excited going into this district championship. They haven't been in a game like this ever in their high school career, and I know that the town of St. Paul is behind us. They're excited to see us back in this game, and I think it's going to be great for our kids just to see their faces from last week, knowing they have this opportunity to play for a championship. So we're ready to go.
Let's talk a little bit about the kids that make up the St. Paul squad. You run it a little bit, you throw it pretty well. Who are the guys that are making those plays for you?
Our offensive line has really come around. Hunter Koshin, Zach Durner, Zane Goldfish, Thomas Mervicia, Cole Fizik, and those guys they're doing a great job up front. We want to try to establish an option run game with our quarterback Tanner Robolewski first, and our fullback Parker Klingensmith. If we can hurt teams as our overall team speed.
So let's talk about the matchup now on Friday night. Central City comes to town. They like to sling it around a little bit, so maybe a different look as far as their offense goes. What's the scouting report for the Bison?
They like to spread you out. They're going to be in trips open, empty, or a doubles look. They base everything, well, I guess a lot of their things off of the RPOs, the run-pass options. They will zone read you, and they'll hit the bubble. They'll hit the stick routes. They'll also run a little quarterback counter, and they've been running the ball a lot more this year with their quarterback. I think our tendencies show something like 53% passing, 47% run in the games that we scouted. So they are getting their quarterback more involved, which we feel confident with our run defense because our defensive line has been really well all year. So we're going to really concentrate on stopping the pass and getting them kind of one-dimensional.
And what would it mean Friday night to be saying that these kids, how far they've come to go from where they have been as freshmen, as a senior class, and perhaps as district champions on Friday night?
I'm just so proud of where they've gone so far, and they deserve it. They really do. All the hard work that the kids have put in through the off season and all the adversity that they've had to overcome the last 3 years, and the parent support has been just great, and I wouldn't be more proud of these boys if they could just bring home a championship for St. Paul. It's much needed. It's been way too long since we've had our last one.
Well, I know I can't wait for it Friday night. We're looking forward to a great one. That is St. Paul coach Rusty Fuller. Thanks for joining us on the Truck Center Company's hotline here on Prep Huddle Live.
Appreciate it, Eric. Thank you.
Folks, we got a real quick commercial break, and when we come back, more of Prep Huddle Live, and we'll head to the York City Auditorium for the Crossroads Conference Volleyball Tournament after this.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Hey, what's going on?
Just checking the fields. Yours are looking pretty good. Must be doing something right.
Actually, I got a guy.
You got a guy?
Well, it's not just any guy. I got a channel seedsman.
Channel, yeah?
Yeah, I've been working with him pretty close to get, well, you can see for yourself. This is what I'd recommend. Let's get to work. Now this is what you want to see.
Maybe I should get a guy.
Maybe you should get a channel seedsman.
Find your channel seedsman at channel.com.
Nova Fitness Equipment of Omaha has provided the very best weight room, track and field, and sports surfacing products for over 30 years in Nebraska. They provide Cybex, Matrix Fitness, Vertimax, Tough Stuff, Pro Elite, Stairmaster, York Barbell, Troy Barbell, and UCS track and performance products. From rubber flooring, strength equipment, cardio products, and sports performance accessories, Nova Fitness Equipment has what you need to make your athletic program successful. Contact Nova Fitness Equipment today at their home office in Omaha or online at novafitnessequipment.com.
Trucking industry gives you a lot of opportunity for careers because there's such a wide, vast list of possibilities and areas that you can go into. As technicians, these trucks are as advanced as cars are today, so we need technicians that can work on them and understand how to work the computer system and get them up and running so the customer can make money. These trucks are workhorses, but they're built for comfort and they're easy to drive. Freightliner builds these trucks for drivers' wants and customers' needs.
Welcome back to Prep Huddle Live here on StriveSports.com. Last night we were in York at the City Auditorium as the Crossroads Conference Volleyball Tournament wrapped up. As we have said several times, it is one of the best atmospheres to watch a volleyball match or a oh, there I went dark again. Well, we'll keep going here a little bit. Maybe we can get the videos. Maybe we should go straight to the highlights. That's what it means. I'm dark.
Exeter Milligan with set point on Hampton in set one. Lose him on the serve. Mason on the attack. Good dig. And on we play. Tracer will set it up for Mason again. Blocked at the net, and that's the set. Set point for the Timberwolves. Double hit. Set two belongs to Exeter Milligan. 7 kills in the set for Madison Van Housen, and we are at set point. White into the net. Hawks stay alive. Of the last 5 points scored, or she's got 4 of the last 6 points scored. Does Clayson. She's got the hot hand right now. Benorton down the line, missed it long, and we're going to a 5th set. Catherine White will serve it
for the Timberwolves. In the middle, Van Housen down for the kill. The Hawks of Hampton are your CRC tournament champions. All right, for Prep Huddle Live, we're here with Hampton volleyball coach Diane Thorson. Coach, wow, what a game, what a match. Let's go back to the first set, though. The undefeated in sets streak comes to an end at 26-24. What did you tell the girls at the end of set one when that little bubble had been burst?
We didn't even talk about it. We have yet to discuss that in any of our practices or conversations. So our focus has always been we need to do the little things well. We didn't do the little things well in the first set, so we talked about what we needed to do.
And in the second set, it kind of seemed like Exeter Milligan was really a little bit more of the aggressor in that set, and the scoreboard kind of reflected that.
Yes, it was. We still weren't doing the little things well, and so we had to regroup and we refocused what we needed to do, and the girls started doing what we've been doing all year, which is serving and hitting aggressively.
Set three, though, you get Madison really going. I think I had her for 7 kills. Taylor got going with the setting. Everything got just a little bit more. You're kind of able to more or less just scratch that one out in the third set.
Right.
That sets you up for a big fourth set. Back and forth that went, and then a 7-0 run had to be very gratifying to make it the fifth set.
That was the 7-0 run was wonderful. We liked that. I knew this was going to be a battle. Exeter is a very well coached team. They're very disciplined. They do so many things well. I knew it was going to be back and forth, and I was hoping that our girls went for the challenge, and they were.
This tournament is a microcosm of just how tough the entire conference is on a regular season night. I know you guys went to Cross County, who was the 9 seed in this tournament last week, and just a dogfight, great atmosphere, big-time stuff. How does a match like that get you ready for something like this?
Oh, that got us really prepared because they have great facilities, and their student body went nuts the whole time. That got us going. That's fun. That's what this is about. And then our crowd really started getting into it, and our girls fed off of that, and we just took off from there.
Talk about the dads. We pointed them out during the stream, and I love the coverall look for the dads. That's got to be fun for the girls too.
Oh, the girls just love it. They eat it up, and the moms dressed up today as well, so that was fun. 27-0 now. Not a big deep breath because we know that sub-districts and districts are coming up right away, and there's nothing easy about the rest of the way. No, there's nothing easy. We have a pretty decent district to get through, so we have to take it one game at a time before we can start thinking about all the other things.
Should be fun to watch. Diane Thorson, the head coach of the winning Hampton Hawks for the CRC volleyball tournament on Prep Huddle Live. All right, we're back, and now we've got on the Truck Center Company's hotline Berk Brown, and Berk and I were just discussing the matches last night of the Crossroads Conference volleyball tournament. Huge thank you to Berk because a couple of well-timed tweets. We ended up with 421 viewers of the matches last night, so that was fun. And Berk, from your end, hopefully we did it justice, but your thoughts on the CRC tournament last night. Hampton comes up with that big win.
Yeah, it was just obviously a very biased personal opinion, but I thought it was more than justice was served with the way that you guys were able to really promote that and get that out there. And the teams lived up absolutely to the billing. And I think the thing that I saw from Hampton last night, and even in the semifinal against Meridian, is like a lot of great teams, they have that ability to find another gear that other teams just maybe don't. So it was an impressive match. I think the atmosphere at York is always incredible. I was telling somebody there Tuesday night, it's the loudest venue that I think I've been in for high school volleyball, and just a great match. Two very, very well coached teams, and you couldn't have asked for anything more. Hopefully we get a repeat of that in the state final. That's about the only thing you could ask for more from that.
Yeah, it kind of seems like hopefully the brackets and everything works out just right. That would be a fun one to do in Lincoln coming up later in November. So let's go outside of the CRC because that literally is in our D2 and some D1 teams in that bracket, but there have been plenty of good teams that have made some big runs. Scott is obviously having one of those tremendous seasons, and tell us a few of the teams that have caught your eye, even more so as we approach the end of October.
Yeah, you mentioned Omaha Skutt, and that's certainly something that I went down to Kansas City on Saturday, watched them play in the tournament down there against some of the better teams from Kansas, and they were pushed a couple times by St. James Academy, but Skutt is clearly, head and shoulders above everybody else in the state. They've just been the most consistent team all year long, and it's interesting in the sense that you got to start to kind of talk about them in terms of where they belong, in terms of the all-time great teams in Nebraska. They're currently up to number 6 in the national rankings, and it might be a little bit early. You don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but at some point we'll probably have to look at that as if they're able to continue the run, where do they really rank among the all-time great teams in Nebraska? But I think there's a woman named Diane in Grand Island who's not quite ready to give them the title yet, as well as some people in Gretna. So still a long way to go, but Scott's doing a lot of great things. And, even Red Cloud in D2 is a team that I believe they won their first conference title. They're having their best season ever. They've never been to state. I think they're currently at about 20-3. So, there's a lot of great teams really kind of hitting their stride right now, and it's certainly going to be fun to watch here the last couple weeks, see really who can continue to take those steps up. I think Malcolm goes to Bishop Neumann tomorrow night. That'll be a great match, and kind of a good test as well to see where the Clippers really stand among the top teams in Class C1.
And so we've talked a few about the teams, and there's some individuals obviously that are going to be up for some awards. And I don't know if you happen to be listening in the early stages of the Hampton and Exeter Miller game last night, but when Madison Van Housen got off to the start that she did, even in the first set loss, she ended with the match against Exeter Milligan with 28 kills. And I said to make sure to put her on every All-State team you possibly can. Outside of Madison, who are some of the other individuals that have caught your eye this year?
Yeah, and I'll just follow up because you had even said, I believe, somewhere along the line in the 4th set where, Madison Van Heusen could play for anybody in the state, including Skutt. And I just want to back you up and say that's absolutely true. I mean, she is that special of a player. I think Jayla Zimmerman down at Malcolm is a player that really deserves a lot of attention for Player of the Year consideration for things that she's done, just the way she leads on the court. She's a tremendous player. I think you obviously look at like the Steph Gaston at Papillion La Vista, Brooke Haney, and Allison Shomers at Skutt. Talia Flores at Papillion La Vista South is a North Dakota recruit who does a little bit of everything. There's so many great ones. Leslie Fox at St. Paul and what she's done for them. I think Anna Squires at Kearney Catholic deserves a long look for those kind of awards as well for everything that she does. It's there's so many great players. I'm sure that I'm leaving out a few. Omaha Marion, of course, has Emily Bressman that you have to kind of look at, and it's just a great time of the year. And really what we'll see now is which players kind of have the ability to step up their games, kind of put their teams on their shoulder. And that's pretty much what Madison did last night. I think Madison Van Heusen does all the things that you want and look for out of a top flight all-state player. And for her and her team to come back last night from a 2-0 deficit when they could have just rolled over and quit was quite something.
And Berk, I'm really going to put you on the spot now because I know from the Twitter conversations that there are some passionate thoughts about postseason volleyball, but I wanted to get your idea on what you're looking forward to in what is coming up in Class B that's been going on for a couple years, and now C1 and C2 are adding it this year with the at one point it had been proposed as kind of a sub-state format, and the NSAA has kind of reworded it, but the general effect is that your wild cards will be able to qualify for a district final or a sub-state format before they get to state. And I know it's happened for a few years in B, and C1 and C2 passed it this year. It didn't pass in D1 and D2, but your thoughts on why that is maybe a step. It's not a perfect situation. There probably isn't one perfect situation, but it seems like a nice step in the right direction to try to get the very best teams at the state tournament every year.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. And I think that's what you're looking for is, I think the conversation was really moving from more of a state tournament that was geographically representative of Nebraska to now being represented hopefully by the teams that are the best. And, that might sound like it's a one portion of the state versus another portion. It's not. It's teams who have earned the right to be there throughout the course of the year are the ones who really should be. And I think what you see now with C1 and C2 having this extra step, what it does is it doesn't guarantee necessarily anybody that they get to Lincoln, but what it does is it gives them a chance to earn it on the court, which is the way I think it should be. And by expanding that to your 12 sub-district champions and then adding 4 wild cards to give you that 16-team round, what it does is it eliminates the situation where a team that might be one of the top 5 or 6 doesn't even get a chance to play. And of course, we've brought this up before, but you look at the situation that happened to St. Paul last year, where St. Paul actually beats Grand Island Central Catholic in district play, but then loses to Kearney Catholic. And so you've got 3 of the top teams in Class C1 all in the same sub-district. And then that loss to Kearney Catholic actually knocked St. Paul back behind Grand Island CC in the wild card point standings. And so you had that situation where St. Paul beats Grand Island Central Catholic in postseason play, but Grand Island Central Catholic winds up going to state instead of St. Paul. And what we've done now, at least in Class C1 and C2, is really eliminated that kind of a situation where a team with a real legitimate shot to win the state championship is sitting at home and can't even do anything about it. So that's the exciting thing. And I think that round of 16 is going to have some incredible matches in C1 and C2. And I know the proposal is back on the table for Class D1 and D2 to add that Tim Holes that Hampton has put that forward again. So with any luck, we can get that through for Class D1 and D2 next year. And then I think you have a lot more excitement and a lot more anticipation because those matches will be a whole lot of fun to watch.
I really like it. It almost seems to me that that's going to feel a lot like the first round of state without being in Lincoln for a lot of these schools. It's the last chance round, if you will. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to seeing this year. And like you said, there's probably not a perfect way to get exactly the right teams to state, but you have to win the right games to get to state, and this is another opportunity for those. Berk, any parting thoughts as we let you go for lunch on Wednesday?
Boy, that's probably the toughest question you've thrown at me here.
On your toes all the time now.
Yeah, no, I can't come up with anything other than I guess that's all I've got, and I would just say stay classy, Henderson.
Please. Berk Brown with NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com. Always a pleasure, always fun to talk. We'll do that again very soon here, Berk. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Eric.
All right, we got another commercial break here on Prep Huddle Live, and we will be back with Tony Chapman, our senior writer. That is next.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickies.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to Dickies.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Hey, what's going on?
Just checking the fields. Yours are looking pretty good. Must be doing something right.
Actually, I got a guy.
You got a guy?
Well, it's not just any guy. I got a channel seedsman.
Channel, yeah?
Yeah, I've been working with him pretty close to get, well, you can see for yourself. This is what I'd recommend. Let's get to work. Now this is what you want to see.
Maybe I should get a guy.
Maybe you should get a channel seedsman.
Find your channel seedsman at channel.com.
Nova Fitness Equipment of Omaha has provided the very best weight room, track and field, and sports surfacing products for over 30 years in Nebraska. They provide Cybex, Matrix Fitness, Vertimax, Tough Stuff, Pro Elite, Stairmaster, York Barbell, Troy Barbell, and UCS track and performance products. From rubber flooring, strength equipment, cardio products, and sports performance accessories, Nova Fitness Equipment has what you need to make your athletic program successful. Contact Nova Fitness Equipment today at their home office in Omaha or online at novafitnessequipment.com.
Trucking industry gives you a lot of opportunity for careers because there's such a wide, vast list of possibilities and areas that you can go into. As technicians, these trucks are as advanced as cars are today, so we need technicians that can work on them and understand how to work a computer system and get them up and running so the customer can make money. These trucks are workhorses, but they're built for comfort and they're easy to drive. Freightliner builds these trucks for drivers' wants and customers' needs.
Back here on Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com, our senior writer now, Tony Chapman, will join us as we kind of put a little bow on the last week that was. And Tony, we've got Strive Stars, we've got Strive 5. We're going to talk about On the Sideline coming up this week, but lots of fun stuff to talk about that we've seen on the Strive Network and on the social media for the last week as well.
Yeah, Eric, been kind of crazy. You guys were on the state tour there one week, and then, of course, busy at state softball last week. So you tell me, what do you want to talk about first?
Well, you got anything about softball you want to mention? This would probably be a good time because Prep Huddle Live last week, we had the podcast version on Wednesday, and it was really at the very beginning of state softball. So we haven't really discussed the softball and you know, of course, the Malcolm Clippers coming up with the Class C championship.
Yeah, I would just say if you're in Class C playing softball now, you might be a smidge worried about this program that they've got going in Malcolm. It's their third year. They win a state championship in year 3, and the name escapes me. They got the Creighton recruit there as well, but 2 seniors on that team. So probably likely we'll see Malcolm and Hastings for a few more years going, I think. So that'll be interesting to follow their progress, see how they defend their title next year.
And then also with that, we had, I think, 7 total Strive schools that were at state. Kearney makes a deep run. Cozad was there, obviously, in the championship game in Class C with Malcolm. York makes it to Friday. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of fun stories throughout that week.
Yeah, and you had Twin River then in Central City from the same district as well. In Central City, great season for them. They win their first ever state tournament game down there when they won in the losers bracket on Thursday. So a lot of neat stuff went on in Hastings last week.
How about some other Strive Stars over the past week? Football has been going crazy. If I have a feeling, one of those probably resides. Actually, well, he goes to school in this town. He resides up by Bradshaw, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let's talk about Austin Storr. Still leading the nation in 8-man in rushing. He's over 2,000 yards now. A light night last week, I believe the Huskies got by Franklin. Austin had 4 carries and I believe 2 catches, and he ended up with 3 touchdowns. So he got tackled 3 times. But they'll get tested, I think, this Friday, district championship game. So district championship game on the line against Kennesaw. That game will be in Kennesaw. And this one feels like it could be another 30 or 40 carry game for Austin in that 350-yard range. So it'll be interesting to track him and the Huskies here as we get into the playoffs. They look really set up well for the D1 playoffs, I think, Eric, in that looks like probably with a win against Kennesaw, I see them maybe in that 4 or 5 seed range, so possibly getting to host a playoff game there in round 1. I wanted to do something really fast. Let's see how fast I can talk. But we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, we had 10 district champions in cross country last week, so I'm just going to name them off really quick. On the boys' side, Seth Hirsch from Millard West, Alexander Tonger from Omaha Central, both won Class A districts. Luke Stuckey from York won in Class B, and Kyle Clifty from Fall City won in Class C. Then in class around the girls' side, you had Gabby McGinn, Millard West won in Class A, John Abart Aurora won in Class B, Christina Soto Stopak from Boone Central Newman Grove won in Class C, set a school record, I believe, in doing so for the Cardinals. Ashley Crozy from Milford, Amanda Ertz from East Butler, and Madison Lamley, who's been a top 3 finisher the last 2 years from Dundee County Stratton, also won in Class D. So you guys will be busy in Kearney on Friday. That'll be a lot of fun. And I think our last star will probably single out Madison Van Housen last night. You were there in York, but 28 kills for Hampton. They won the CRC championship. I mean, that thing looked like a state championship match, and it might be. You never know. As Hampton beat Exeter Milligan for the CRC championship. Madison was fantastic all the way around. And the Hawks and the Timberwolves are not in the same district this year, so that's kind of fun. They'll be able to not have to worry about tabulating wildcard points. They can just win their way to state, it looks like, this year. So an awesome match last night. You guys did a great job with that one.
Well, thanks for that. And I said it during the match last night, and I want to reiterate it today. Yes, Van Housen was great. Jamie Traster, the setter for Hampton, was very good. The setter for Exeter Milligan, Sydney Hall, I thought had a tremendous game. She was everywhere with the sets, and Hampton did not have a very good blocking night because Sydney was so good setting it to do the different spots. So big props to her. As far as StriveSports.com, Tony, still plenty to go through this week. We'll be in Milford tomorrow night covering the SNC volleyball tournament, where Heartland is the 1 seed. Actually, they're looking for the first conference crown in quite some time there. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't they playing Sandy Creek? Does that sound right?
I believe so. Yes, that sounds right.
And then also on Strive Sports later this week, we will have On the Sideline, and it's a special feature for you.
Yeah, we're going to preview the state cross country meet. Had a chance yesterday to catch up with Colin Johnston at Millard West and Tony Sigler, the co-head coach for Aurora. They both bring just excellent girls and boys teams. If you'll remember last year for Millard West, they won the boys team title and they were second in the girls race. And Coach Johnston feels like he has 2 teams again who certainly could do the same thing this year. Eric, check this out. On the boys' side for him, they run 7 runners in Class A. It's unlike the other classes. So in Class B, C, and D, you run 6 runners and count 4. But in Class A, you run 7 runners and count 5. Millard West went 1, 4, 5, 13, 14, 15 at the district meet, and they're second. So they had a runner who medaled but didn't count, and then their next runner, their 7th runner, was 16th. So they had fully half of the top 16, or not quite half of the top 16 in that district. Coach Johnston really expects Fremont to be their top challenger this week. And then on the girls' side, his girls went 1, 2, 3 with Gabby McGinn leading the way. Abby Hefner, who, get this, Eric, was a golfer for Millard West last fall. She now is second place. And then Caitlin Johnson, who had a great state meet last year, was 1, 2, 3. Caitlin Johnson actually won the Metro Conference title. So Coach Johnson said those 3 have really been impressive, and they were within about 30 seconds of each other. They actually placed 5 in the top 7, so a near perfect score at districts for the Millard West girls. And then Aurora maybe has one of the top girls teams as well in Class B. They'll be pushed, Coach Ziegler said, by Elkhorn South and Scotts Bluff, so from all ends of the state there. But they went 1, 2, 3 districts as well, with Jonna Bart and Kennedy Cradle and Emily Standage leading the way for the Lady Huskies.
Is Millard West good? That seems good. 7 of the top 16 on the boys race, and then 1, 2, 3 of the girl. Yeah, that seems quite good.
1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 14. So they had 6 medalists on the girls' side. So 13 of the 30 medalists at the A1 at Pioneer Park were Millard West runners.
Holy cow! Well, that's one way to make it to Kearney, I guess. So again, all of those races, they start up at noon. In Kearney there at the Country Club, which is a fun course. Not good for fat guys to walk around and try to take pictures, but we'll do our best. That's why we have Austin to be able to kind of run around a little better this year. And then, of course, that brings us to our Friday night game of the week, which will be in St. Paul. We talked to Coach Rusty Fuller at the start of the show. Central City comes to town in a big district championship. Hasn't happened in a long time. This is probably the biggest game certainly that the St. Paul kids have played in, the biggest game that has been played in St. Paul in quite some time.
Yeah, it's been a while for St. Paul. They had a nice run, in the mid-2000s. Travis Brulette was the coach there, and I believe he's still on the staff there. But they had some nice teams there in the mid-2000s. But, boy, you're right, it's been a while for the Wildcats. So this is a big game. This senior class, I think we mentioned earlier this year, this senior class had won 3 games, Eric, coming into this season. So what they've put together has been a great season for them. Of course, their only losses. Now I'm drawing a blank. I know they lost to Valentine. 7-1.
Right, Valentine and Centennial by 5.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they had Centennial down 21-20 late in the fourth quarter, that one as well.
Yep.
And lost that one 26-21. And then that Valentine game where they lose to Valentine 23-16, they were up 16-2 at the half. And I believe Valentine had 2 quick scores to start the second half, and it kind of turned the tide in that one. So St. Paul has played just excellent football, and if you look at the Class C2 rankings, no reason they shouldn't be right there on the edge. And then, of course, Central City, I joked, Eric, with Troy Hubert after we covered their game with Battle Creek that now they'd go on a run. We covered their Columbus SCOTUS game last year, and they won out until the quarterfinals, and sure enough, here they won. They haven't lost since that Battle Creek game. So I believe they've rattled off now 5 in a row. I think 3 shutouts in that mix. So this will be an interesting one. I think, though, I've not seen St. Paul contrasting styles in this one. We'll get some kind of option power veer from the Wildcats. And, of course, we all know what Coach Hubert likes to do in spreading it out and trying to spread the field and get them with some weapons there. And looking forward again to seeing Jordan Pop, who I think maybe is one of the top probably 10 players in the state regardless of class this year.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that one in St. Paul and on the St. Paul Strive channel for our Channel Seed Game of the Week. Well, we have somehow stretched this show to 40 minutes, and I didn't think it was going to get there, but here we are. So, Tony, I guess thanks for everything, and we'll talk to you Friday night when we head to St. Paul.
Yeah, a lot of pre-playoff games on the network Thursday and Friday, Eric. There's plenty of good games to find. That should be a fun one. And then the brackets are Saturday. Should be a fun next 30 days or so.
Keep an eye on the social media for Strive Sports over the weekend, especially on Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing what transpires over there. Thanks, Tony.
All right, thanks, Eric. See ya.
So that's going to do it for us today on Prep Huddle Live here on StriveSports.com. It is a beautiful day outside, so Austin, take us away. Thanks, and we'll get you next week when we get into the previews of the playoff games for 8-man and 11-man, which will start up next week, and probably recap a little state cross country as well. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.